Welcome to Phonogenics 101, a Riotboy production hosted by Jeremy Gloff. The podcast where people who love music discuss albums track by track. Please hit subscribe, and if you'd like to support this podcast, patreon.com/Jeremy Gloff or Venmo @Jeremy Gloff. And now, on to the music. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. I'm Jeremy Gloff, your host from Tampa, Florida, and the Annie Lennox solo album journey continues tonight with Medusa from 1995. Is that correct, you guys?
Yep.
Okay. I was living in Buffalo, New York. Those are the height of my first phase of my club days. So, No More I Love Yous was everywhere. A lot of drag queens doing that song in Buffalo, New York. But, everyone here has been on the panel before, thanks to my Patreon subscribers and the subscribers of this channel. Every week, this damn thing grows. So if you're out there watching, thank you. Thank you. Most importantly, the music. Like, it's this music that brings us all together. So, all right, let's jump right into this. We talked about Diva last month, one of the biggest albums of my early 90s. I came out of the closet. I listened to Erotica. I had a gold tooth. But I also listened to Diva a lot by Annie Lennox. By the time Medusa came around, those were like the height of my raver club days, phase one. There's like different seasons of Jeremy the club years, which I've graduated from. I'd rather just be at home podcasting at this point. But 1995, I kind of parted ways with Annie Lennox a little bit. Like, she was around all the time, but I didn't buy Medusa the day it came out. I was excited the first time I heard No More I Love Yous, but then I found out it was I'm like, oh, a new song. The album's called Medusa. What a cool title. But then I found out it was a covers album, and as a personal taste, I usually check out of cover albums. Like, I'm like, I just immediately lost interest. So tell me about your guys' journey coming into Medusa. Who would like to start?
I'll go.
Okay, John.
At 95, I was working for Tower in their headquarters in West Sacramento and doing a lot of work with their export department in London and Tokyo. So I had access to all, the media as far as CDs and whatnot. There was definitely a lot of press about it and lots of promos and things like that. I feel like in hindsight, I feel like it, she kind of deserved to do whatever she, if she wanted to do a covers album. I was kind of thinking of it in comparison to other artists who have done, notable covers. And actually the one that came to mind this evening was, Grace Jones, who did, after her disco era, she did several albums where she had both original and some covers by really well-known artists like Tom Petty and people like that.
Yeah.
But in many ways, Grace Jones very much made those songs her own. Like Demolition Man and songs like that. Love is the Drug, which is a Roxy Music song. To me, this album was it's very much an adult contemporary album. It does, it borders on the sort of, at this point, I think she would, Annie and Eurythmics were kind of beyond alternative or new wave or whatever you call it. So, it's a pleasant album, but it's also not one that I revisit very much. Every now and then, a song from it, I will.
Another Grace Jones cover was Private Life, right? Pretenders?
Yes.
Yeah, Grace. I'd love to do a Grace Jones series one day. She's on my list. What a great discography. I actually love the disco albums as well as the...
Yeah.
The
I just saw her a few weeks ago. She was amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a friend who just saw her too. Yeah.
Oh. And that last album was good too, Hurricane.
Hurricane's amazing.
Yeah.
Totally underrated record.
All right, well, stay on deck. Grace Jones is coming some year. All right, who wants to go next? Medusa. Mark.
Well, I think too, when you think back, the publicity for this album was huge. I mean, the one to come after Diva was going to be marketed hugely, and it was. And of course, it went to #1 in England first week, and did well here in the U.S. Eventually sold 6 million copies. So, and that was early on. So I don't know what it is now, but it was huge for her. But there was a reason, I think, that it was a covers album. Remember, she'd had her first child, Lola, before Diva, and she had her second daughter, Tolly, by the time of Medusa. So I think a covers album was almost a necessity in her mind, or was, I shouldn't say in her mind, but I think it was a necessity. She wasn't going to spend the time writing. Okay, how can I do this? How can I still perform? Because I think she still had that itch to perform that she talked about, that she needed to record. She needed to sing. She needed to perform. That it called to her, and she kind of left Eurythmics and claims, wasn't sure what she was going to do, what was going to be the path forward. Interestingly, before the album came out, there was, and I can't source it because I don't know where I read it. It's in some article somewhere, but a publicity person at the UK record company called Medusa a covers album of obscure pop songs. Now, that wasn't a very accurate description when you actually see the eventual track list. It was, considering The Lover Speaks, No More I Love You's, that was fairly obscure, although we'll talk about that in a minute. But so I think it perfectly worked for her, though. And as John said, it kind of has an adult contemporary feel. But that's where Annie Lennox was going. Whether she meant it or not, that's what Diva was. Diva sort of threw her into, a new body of water that she hadn't been in before. So it had a lot of, it was nominated for Pop Album of the Year. She won a Grammy. So it was all still coming together for her at that time. It really was.
Well, I feel like culturally, 95 was like, you're getting into like the Lilith Fair era, where there was like kind of like a lot of coffee house music. And I feel like Medusa's kind of like the precursor, like the Barnes and Noble music. Mm-hmm. Like that total kind of like, like we said, adult contemporary. But I think of a different universe where Annie Lennox's second solo album was an album of originals. And I can't even envision that universe. I feel like to her, she kind of uses songwriting to release her pain. Maybe there wasn't a lot of pain in her life at this point. Maybe it was a time to celebrate, and she didn't want to dig into herself like you have to when you write songs. I understand that. Sometimes writing an album is just terrible because you're just walking through all the shadows within yourself. So maybe Annie, like you said, what a great opportunity for her to get some new music out, but without having to go through that process. And as we all know with Bear, I mean, that was an album where she really walked through herself and dealt with a lot of things. Yeah. So can you guys picture a universe where Annie Lennox's second album was anything else but Medusa? I can't.
I got some.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
So to go along with what Mark said and what we're talking about right now, I wonder, because it would make sense if she signed some kind of a contract where she had to get so many albums out within, so many years or whatever. So that would, I wonder, do they do that still? I think they do.
They did then, for sure, I would imagine.
Yeah. But after Diva, there weren't going to be a lot of record companies telling her what to do either.
Yeah.
Although they would have had the power over her. I think you're right on that.
Well, no, I meant like, to go with what you were saying because of how you described, with what she was going through with having the 2 kids and being too busy to.
Yeah, and I don't doubt a bit that she had some kind of contract, and I'm sure her record company, when she said, I'm going to do a covers album, they were fine with that because they knew they could sell it. They knew what she would do with it. But yeah, I don't remember what I was thinking at the time. I mean, I knew it was a covers album, and it didn't faze me at all. I mean, I was just always so excited about what she was going to do. So I didn't care. I mean, even to this point, I'd be happy if she released a covers album every year. I wouldn't care as long as I had new music from Annie Lennox, which we don't. So, my whole philosophy on that was probably kind of stuck too, because she could have released lots of albums over the years and had lots of people write for her, but she's chosen not to do that. So
just for fun on this panel. Oh, go ahead, Lynn. I'll come back to this stuff.
So I'm going to just kind of expound on you with all of you. I think it's true. I think she had 2 children. I don't think it was something she was going through. I think that was a really happy time of her life. She always wanted to be a mom, and here she was. I think her marriage was good at that point. And I think she probably didn't want to dig deep, like Mark and David have said, dig deep and visit the angst that she always has had when she writes other songs, because I think she really puts her heart and soul in it. So when I was in 1995, I lived in New York. I worked for New York City Ballet. My whole life was the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And so when I listen to this album, I am transported there. It's a wonderful time of my life as well. So it was really fun to listen to. I liked the covers. A lot of those really spoke to me. So, and I think I'm more of an age group that I didn't think of it as adult contemporary, but I guess it was. She kind of moved along with her audience in a way, who were getting older. I hate to say that. Not everybody was super young and teenagers. Some of us were the same age.
So just for fun, before we go into more about this album, can you guys, I'm not a huge fan of covers albums. I was trying to think of like artists I love that did a successful covers album project, and I'm really struggling. The only one I can really think of is Tori Amos' Strange Little Girls. I actually love that album.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have one?
I have an example that was very poorly regarded, and it happened to be released the same exact year. The band Duran Duran released an album called Thank You, and you can constantly find it. If you search top 10 worst albums of all time, you're likely to find that album listed there. I've listened to it. It's fine enough. It's not their best work, but it's certainly, it pales in comparison, a wear shade of pale, if you will, to this album.
I have to admit, I've never heard of that album.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't. I didn't know they did that. I've never heard of it.
I think one of the first is The Evil Woman.
No,
Jim.
the first release, single release from the Thank You album was White Lines, and I think that was Grandmaster Flash song or Melly Mel song or something like that, and it actually was a really good cover, I think. But Nick is right. That album really kind of got panned and I think unduly so. I mean, was it as good as Medusa? No, but it was good. And now, David, the album you're thinking about, The Evil Woman, came from is Dance Macabre, which they released about a year or so ago. It was kind of their Halloween take on several of their own original songs, but then they also did Evil Woman, which is a good remake. It's got some great remixes, and oh Lord, I think there is. Is
that where that dark version redo of New Moon on Monday is? Is that where that came from?
Yep, that's where that.
I love that.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting that they did a covers album right after would have been right after their resurgence, which in my mind, some of their best music ever is what they did in the early 90s, 92, 93. So that's fascinating. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah. I think that album may have come out right after their comeback album with Ordinary World and Come On.
So good.
But now getting back to Medusa. My introduction to it was very much like yours, Jeremy. With I heard the song, I was like, oh my God, that's Annie Lennox. That's an awesome song. I had never heard it before, so I too thought it was an original. And for a fluttering moment when I did hear it was a cover, I thought, oh, right, it's not, you know. But then, like Mark, it's like, oh, I don't care. It's Annie Lennox. She could do anything for 45 minutes on an album, and I would probably buy it and absolutely love it. And I listened to this album as uh, as often as I do Diva. I think, in my opinion, I know some people don't have the same opinion for this album, but I put this one right up there with Diva. Just because she had the cojones to do a covers album for her absolute sophomore release as a solo artist.
Right.
And that is very it's some very dangerous grounds to be in when you're trying to kind of reinvent yourself, especially after being in such a successful band such as Eurythmics throughout the 80s. So I mean, there's been plenty of people that have jumped out from behind their bands and tried to do solo careers and were not very successful at all. I mean, so this was a very brave move for her, I thought.
All right. Lynn, you had your hand up.
I did, and hi, Mike.
Hi, Lynn.
And hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
I think that it wasn't so much, and that she didn't maybe have the time or the inclination to write songs as I was listening to all of you. I think these are songs that she's always wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of it. I mean, as we go through the songs, when you think of Whiter Shade of Pale, that has a real history for her.
Right.
So I think that was probably the impetus as much as anything, is she wanted to sing these songs that she's always wanted to sing. She loved the Pretenders. She sang, Thin Line. So I think that was a lot of it as well.
And isn't that great that you get that from an artist?
Mm-hmm.
That it kind of shows you just as much as when they're giving you all of this, that, like Jeremy says, sort of this angst where they're writing, but this gives you another dimension of this person that you really like, that you really connect with. What it is, what music was it, or was it at the time, that has made her who she is? So yeah, that's a fascinating way to look at it.
I feel like covers albums often come later in someone's discography, past their peak. They're kind of albums that aren't really heard of a lot, and I feel like Medusa is really the best case scenario for a covers album. I mean, it came out at her peak. I feel like this was a major release from her. It wasn't an afterthought, because I think it's something like Cyndi Lauper. She had like At Last, which was a standards album. I guess standards albums and covers albums are different things. Yeah, Natalie Merchant, House Carpenter's Daughter, or whatever it's called, which is like old time songs. But this is a pop album of kind of contemporary music, completely reinvented by Annie Lennox as a major release. This certainly was no afterthought in her discography. Maybe like the Christmas album was later. No offense to those who love it, but like this,
she spent a year recording that.
Yeah, no, Christmas was not.
Yeah.
All right, John.
So like in the booklet for the album, she mentions like the album contains a selection of songs that she's been drawn to for all kinds of reasons. They weren't chosen with any particular theme or concept. The method was more instinct than design. So, I mean, I like the fact that she called it Medusa, because to me it's kind of goes in line with a bit of the tongue-in-cheekness of making her first solo album called Diva. I almost feel like it was sort of almost like a call and response, like Diva, Medusa, and almost
I thought that too.
And almost like, the songs on the album are sort of, each one's a snake in the hair of Medusa. That's kind of, it means something to her. It represents something to her. But I mean, I like it. I like the album. I don't think it was really necessarily filler. It may have been more like obligatory in terms of her contract, but I appreciate it now. Like that's what she wanted to do at the time.
Mike, do you want to share anything about your coming into the Medusa era?
Well, I'm hearing a lot of love for Medusa. I got to say, when I first heard this album, I did not read the liner notes or anything. I just wanted to experience the album and its sound. And I'd never heard No More I Love Yous before. So I thought, oh, that's cool, that's great. And then I realized it was an album of covers, and I was kind of disappointed, I gotta say, that it was a covers album. And this is probably one of my least favorite albums, unfortunately. And I hate to say that, but someone's got to say it. So there, I said it.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites either, Mike. I appreciate it for what it is. But what I do love... Oh, go ahead. Continue.
There's only really one or two songs that I really, really enjoy on this album. The rest of it I find, and I hate to say this, so you can all crucify me, I find it safe, boring, just very, very adult contemporary snooze fest. And I hate to say it, but there it is. I've done it. Yeah.
Well, we'll go into this when we get to the song by song, but I do feel like the sequencing is very sleepy. Like,
yes,
you know, they could have thrown in some up tempos in different places. I think might have paced the album a little bit better. So when I was listening to it, I'm like, ooh, this just keeps going on a vibe, doesn't it? Okay, Lynn, you had your hand up.
No.
Nope.
I could talk if you want me to, but no, I was just raising my head.
Well, before we get into the song by song, let me just say one final thing. Well, it may not be my favorite Annie Lennox album. I do love the cover artwork. I think the red typeset, the black and white picture, the typewriter font, I think this album was stylized just as, you know, not a throwaway cover at all. Beautiful.
And on that subject, the promotion of this album was just phenomenal in terms of collectibles and promotional items. This was amazing. This was a fest. Yeah. So that's how much faith the record company had in Annie Lennox at that time. They really, really promoted it.
Yep.
It's interesting because you think of Annie Lennox's contemporaries in 1984. Who do you think of? Like Boy George, Berlin, I don't know, throw out some names. Duran Duran. Who is your Eurythmics contemporaries?
Who were popular at the time?
Like who are her peers? Because I think of Annie Lennox's peers in 85 compared to 95. Because I look at her like Medusa sits next to like Sarah McLachlan to me. Like
interesting. Well, I think all the 90s feel like that though, compared to the 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's great that she evolved. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of those people from the 80s, where exactly were they in 95? So the fact that she stayed relevant and found another home.
Yep.
So I was contemporaries to me, to Eurythmics or to Annie, and in the 80s we're Talking Heads, Pretenders. Okay. Those are who I would consider the Eurythmics contemporaries.
Awesome.
Who she was covering.
Yes, indeed, yes.
But
no Talking Heads. Wouldn't that be great?
What year did that Pretenders album Last of the Independents come out? Was that 95? 94? That was such a great comeback. Is there any other Pretenders fans here? Because I'm a huge Pretenders fan.
Yeah, but I don't know all the... Yeah, I love the Pretenders.
Okay. All right. Well, Medusa, track by track. Does anybody have anything they want to say in general before we... All right. Well, the first time I heard No More I Love Yous, of course, I loved it. I thought it was a cool song. I didn't know it was a cover. I, too, was disappointed. I'm like, oh, Christ, a fucking covers album. But, you know...
I thought it was one original. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought it was one original song and the rest were covers.
Yeah.
That's what I thought initially.
Go ahead, John.
However, No More I Love Yous goes all the way back to Dave Stewart because he produced The Lover Speaks back in
the
80s.
And
of course.
The Lover Speaks open for them in England for the Revenge tour? Right?
Possibly.
I think so. I mean, it was a song she was very familiar with because she would have been right there in the midst of it when they were recording. I listened to their cover. I love their cover. I'd never heard it before though.
Oh, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so Nick, coming into this album, you explored the Eurythmics. What songs did you know coming into this?
Well, seeing that they're covers, I guess you can compare it to what originals did I know going into it. And there are a few. Where Shade of Pale, that's probably the most famous song on the album. If we're talking about the actual covers that Annie recorded, I haven't really heard any of them prior to this. I did listen to No More I Love Yous maybe a month ago for some preliminary preparations. And I understood why it was released as a single. For whatever reason, the radio stations around me just never played it.
Oh,
Like, I mean, I wouldn't know because I wasn't alive back in
Oh,
1995.
well.
But if we're talking about even starting around 2000, I haven't heard it at all. And it's a shame. While I have heard Walking on Broken Glass and Why, they haven't really dug into her discography beyond that, at least with all the radio stations that I've witnessed. But it was a treat to hear this for the first time. And the kick drum in particular caught my attention. It's just super rich. I think there's a lot of drum programming on the album from start to finish, which is a bit of a grievance on my end. I find it to be a little bit stiff, very much middle of the road adult contemporary. And seeing that I'm a Fleetwood Mac fan, usually I enjoy that. And it's very soft production. And I think that it works somewhat well, but it's somewhat of a slog, but a relatively enjoyable slog.
It does. It gets a little sluggish at some points. But No More I Love Yous, I never like really listened to the lyrics, like to see, but what the hell is she talking about? A buttonhole song? Like, what's that background lyric?
I don't find myself bouncing home whistling buttonhole tunes to make me cry. So
That's a mouthful right there.
and I think slightly different from the original. When I was listening to the original, I think the original says you don't catch me. But anyway, but that's one of the best parts of the song.
Yeah. I feel like Annie, I hate to say it, I'm just going to say it though. I feel like she blew that original out of the water. Like, this might as well be an Annie Lennox original as far as I'm concerned. Like,
and most people think it is.
I mean, yes, if those guys are driving nice cars, they're doing it on the back of Annie Lennox royalties.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
They're okay with it.
Yeah. This song definitely was played on the radio stations in here. Like, even in Tampa, I still hear No More I Love Yous. I feel like, and like I said, many a drag queen, because the video itself is very queer friendly with the drag queen stuff. And I haven't watched this video in decades, and I went back and watched it, and I love it. It's just Annie Lennox, peak Annie Lennox, with the facial expressions, and this is very Shakespeare's sister with the big eyes that remind me of like the Stay video. What are some other thoughts on No More I Love Yous?
It debuted in England at #2. It's her biggest single. Isn't that something though, that a single can debut at #2, but it doesn't get to #1? How is that possible?
Right.
Yeah.
But she won a Grammy. I mean, for best pop female vocal performance, when every single person at the Grammys thought that Mariah Carey had that locked up, and Annie Lennox won it, and Bonnie Raitt and Alanis Morissette jumped to their feet in applause from the audience when she went up to get the award.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just, and she said something wonderful. She said, "I finally have one of these." Now, she had already won a Grammy for Missionary Man, but I think she was talking about female artist in the U.S., so she's holding it. I finally have one of these. So that, again, meant something to her. But
I always have a joke, like when I only love one song on an album, that I call it, like, for many years, this album was the No More I Love You CD single with like 9 bonus tracks. Because I just pulled out, this song is exquisite though. I mean, the best of Annie Lennox's discography, this is in there for me.
For sure.
The way that first verse comes in, that melody, I know, that's how the band wrote it, but it was just tailored for this performance. Yeah. Exquisite. I wish the whole album was as good as this song. Any other thoughts on No More I Love Yous?
There were. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Jim, then John.
I was just going to say it's haunting. It's especially when she goes through this whole thing about there are monsters outside, and It's got kind of a spooky vibe to it, which is part of its attraction for me. And the beginning with a that
Yeah, it's
whole
iconic.
part.
Very
It's just
iconic.
exactly.
All right, Mr. John.
I was just gonna point out they did push out some dance mixes of singles from the album. So there's a single for Train in Vain that has it's a 2-record set, and the second record is all remixes of No More I Love You. So I personally am not a big fan of some of the remixes. Like, I like the artists that they picked, Howie B and I think it was Sly and Robbie. I mean, there were some really good, remixers who worked on it, but I kind of found a lot of the remixes during the kind of early 90s, especially since this is not like a dance album. But I kind of found a lot of them to be somewhat generic.
Very boring.
Even getting into like, Eurythmics piece, all the dance mixes I found to be a bit generic. But obviously they were trying to
I turned it off. Sorry.
They were trying to hit the market, the dance market too.
But all the dance mixes for No More I Love Yous were a medley. And I never understood that. You have this song that is perfectly situated for a dance remix, and it never actually got its full remix. It was always the kind of medley with two of the other songs, and I never quite got that. I'm just like, it was begging for it.
Damn.
I think Jim wanted to say something. Jim, were you?
No, I was just shaking. No, I was just shaking my head, Mark. I agree with you.
Okay.
It was kind of like a mega mix from the album. I think one of the other songs in the mix was "Take Me to the River" and
Downtown Lines.
yes.
And they were
And
great.
Take
It was
Me
a
to
great
the-
mix. It just, I couldn't understand. You don't have a remix to the entire
Right.
song.
Right. No, I agree with you. And "Take Me to the River," I know that's a remake, but I do believe the Talking Heads also remade that song. So
Yes.
technically,
Oh,
they do.
okay.
Recorded that song.
And just a couple quick things. I have this. I'm sure you guys all have it. This weird promo that came out in stores, and then of course there's the 2-disc version with the Central Park concert. So there are some different editions of the album. Oh, yep.
This is the Album Network promo that has like the live tracks.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a hard HD that was released several years later.
Yeah.
Always.
Here's a fun item. This is the cassette single.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Man.
Oh
The
wow!
single.
This was issued with a free badge. See the little badge there?
Yep.
Oh, wow!
And so I've never opened it. It's still sealed.
What country is that?
What's that?
What country?
USA.
Oh, interesting.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That was a USA? I had no idea.
This badge is really collectible. So that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got the badge, but I didn't get it with the cassette single. I bought it somewhere over the years. I had no idea.
Yeah.
The things learned on this podcast.
I know.
There's a really cool, and this is official, a Mexico CD single as
I
well.
love that photo.
Oh, that's a nice one.
I got some really cool promo stuff if you want to get to that at some point, Jeremy. I don't want to hog your podcast.
No, do you want to do it like when we get to the songs that correspond with it?
Yeah, I've got 3 Medusa.
Yeah, let's show those. Let's show them. Yeah, let's show it now. Now's a good time.
Okay. All right. Okay. This one is really unusual. Apparently, the story goes that this promo kit was released in 10 different fabrics.
Oh.
This one is linen. There was silk.
Wow.
There was cotton. I don't know what else. Limited to 10, and I believe our very own Steve Gaylor has one as well. But inside it, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and show you. There's just a little card there, waiting in vain. There's a VHS tape.
Oh,
Wow.
There's Something So Right. Oh, actually, that's Something So Right. I beg your pardon. There's a Live in Central Park promo cassette, which I've never played as well. And then there's the Medusa manila envelope, which contains... I should have had this unwrapped, actually.
I'm enjoying the reveal.
The
I feel like you should have archival gloves on, Mike.
I know.
And a mask and tweezers.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So there's the Medusa promo kit that it came with a biography.
I love that
Wow.
picture.
And the CD. So there's that. And I've never ever seen or heard anything more about this item anywhere else. So there's that little baby.
So there's 10 of each fabric is what you heard?
That's what I was told. I bought this from Esprit in London, and in the description it said one of 10 different fabrics.
Interesting.
So when did it come out? It clearly wasn't before the album because there's stuff in it that...
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So almost like an anniversary release or something.
I think they were trying to promote this single, Something So Right. And then there's this one. I'm sure you've seen this. Again, another manila envelope. But this one came with the Medusa.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's the same promo kit inside.
Okay.
I just showed you. But it also came with a watch.
Wow.
And so this is the Medusa watch. Yeah, there you go, Mark. So that was really cool.
So now which watch do you have? Because there are two.
There's several, yeah.
One that Annie Lennox is easier to read, and one where Medusa is larger. Can you see that? I don't even know.
Wow. Oh, Medusa. Oh, wow, you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if you can see that, yeah. So that was really cool. And the other one that I've got is this great little box set.
yes.
And this is the French one. And I think you've got this one, Mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's got like this, I think it's a board game. I don't understand really what it's all about, but there's a little promo here. And the cool thing about this is that there's a stamp.
Yeah.
So it's Annie Lennox on it.
Oh,
And inside here is a little stamp pad. So you just open that up. There's the ink, which is dried up.
oh.
So now,
So you know, you've got like Annie Lennox stamped all on her forehead. This is the little stamp that you can make your own little Annie Lennox.
so the one I have does not have the ink pad.
Oh, really?
So which one do I have? Where's the ink pad in the box?
It's just included inside in the box.
Okay, so that's what mine looks like, and the
Yeah, mine is the same with a CD in it, but the ink pad was just floating free in the box.
Well, and look, I still have the receipt. Want to know what I paid for it?
Yes.
£90.
Oh, wow.
And on May 25th, 1995, from Surrey in England.
Pre-eBay, right?
Oh yes, oh definitely free eBay.
So what would one of these go for on eBay now? Do we feel like?
Well, I paid $150 for it probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
See, mine doesn't have like a little whatever you were calling like a board game.
It's got this really strange thing. It's in French.
Is that pictures of her? Are they all her on the other
Yeah.
side?
Wow.
No, they're different artists. Different artists.
Oh, okay.
That's very strange. Yeah.
Are they people that worked on the album or just random people?
Can you read that in French?
Oh, those are like RCA reps.
Oh, it must be like an RCA.
Those
program.
are like probably RCA France, like salespeople or marketing people or something
So-
like that.
Look at the inside of my box.
Ooh.
At one
Pretty.
but at one point,
Yeah.
stamp
Damn.
was in this
Yeah, the
box.
pack.
Oh, yep. The stamp was there.
It's missing.
Mark,
Yeah.
now you have to get another one.
I know. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Anyway,
Okay. Oh,
the point I'm making is the promotional stuff around this album was phenomenal, right? It was amazing. Yeah.
But those are so unique. What are they like, like a record store day thing, or maybe even, more collectible, like just going to record executives employees or something?
I think it's a record executive employee in-house thing, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
John.
They
Yeah.
would be used for. I was a buyer, so they would be used to like give to the buyers at the record stores or for the record chains, like give them to the people who were the buyers, or like probably even some were given to radio.
Yeah.
wow.
Play this album. All right. Any other collectibles, Mike?
Oh, I got a bunch load, but when we get to the songs, if you don't
Okay.
mind, I'll...
Perfect. All right. So moving on. Track 2 of the album. We can all agree. No More I Love You is iconic. Let me get on my glasses because I don't. Whenever I do things from memory, I fuck it up. Track 2 is Take Me to the River, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Take Me to the River. I feel like whenever I think of the song, I think of the fish on Sopranos.
Is that the fish that comes,
On the wall, like,
the plaque? I do too, I'm afraid.
and Polly
Yeah.
smashes it. I felt like Annie Lennox's cover doesn't. I kind of feel like she didn't reinvent this song like she did No More I Love Yous. I feel like it's a serviceable cover. It's not a song that I even love the original of, to be honest with you. So I don't have much to say about this. Does anybody have anything to say about Take Me to the River?
Well, it's an Al Green song, and she duetted with Al Green from Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like she said in the liner notes, she doesn't really have any specific motive behind the song she chose or any theme particularly. I mean, obviously it's a really, it's a well-known song, and Talking Heads, they did. I don't think it was on an album, but it was on the live Stop Making Sense.
Right.
So there's no studio of it, not that I'm aware of. But they made it pretty popular, in their live concerts.
So which came first, Scrooged or Medusa?
Scrooged.
Scrooged by, yeah.
Okay.
All right, Nick.
I will clarify that this song was, if I'm not mistaken, included on the More Songs About Buildings and Food album. So there is indeed a studio version, and it charted relatively high. It was one of their highest charting songs. I think it hit number 26. They had one top 10 hit, Burning Down the House, and that was pretty much it. In the US, I should clarify.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of parallels, one of which is the name. Oftentimes, both with Eurythmics and Talking Heads, people will incorrectly place the word "the" in front of the Talking Heads or the Eurythmics. And I'm pretty sure Talking Heads has an album called The Name of the Band is Talking Heads, kind of poking fun at the mistakes that people make in terms of saying their name. I like the song quite a bit. Both, I haven't really listened to Al Green's original. I did briefly, wasn't fond of that, but I do like Talking Heads version quite a bit. It's one of my favorites of theirs. And this version has a lot of synth bass. The percussion's really cool. I was listening to it with headphones, and it's a very satisfying listen just with all the panning that's happening for a couple of notes on one instrument, and then it goes to the other channel. So I would recommend both listening just through regular car speakers and with headphones if you
Okay.
have the opportunity.
All right. Further thoughts. Take Me to the River.
It perfectly fits her style. I really like the song. I mean, it's perfectly suited to how her soul leanings and how she does it. I think it could have easily been a single. It fits perfectly. I have to admit, I listened to this album right before the podcast, all the way through, and I could not have told you what the second track was. Now, I could have back in the day. I'm certain of it, but I listen to music so much at this point that they're just playlists of different things. And
Right.
I think we listen to music differently now. Anyway, I do. So it was like, okay, Take Me to the River. It's the second. I didn't even remember that when I was listening. So
it is a great second track. I feel like it's a great second track to the album.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
I'm going to say it. Completely forgettable. Sorry. Had to say it.
All right, you've said
it. All right, so we have one vote for Completely Forgettable. We have one vote for Sopranos. All right, yeah, I feel like I kind of wanted her to let loose a little bit more than she did. Like, I know she kind of gets there, but we've heard her raise the roof, and I feel like she inches the roof.
Yeah,
I would agree to that. I would agree that it would have been, she could have, without a doubt.
All right. Well, track 3. I got hired at a job in 2018, and my boss was trying to think of what her daughter was going to walk down to the aisle. And she's like, "Oh, I love that Whiter Shade of Pale by whose original band, Procol
Horror.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm like, you got to hear the Annie Lennox version. She loved it. So that's just my little story. This is one of those songs.
That's an interesting song to walk down the aisle to.
I know.
Yeah. I can't talk.
This is one of those songs. It's like they're talking about the light fan. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Trip the Light
Fandango. I just don't love the lyrics of the original version. I don't know. This isn't one of my favorite songs. I think Annie's version is beautiful. It's like a little music box. Boy, I just feel like an asshole on this podcast. I just don't. Mike, what do you have to say?
It's you and me.
Mike, support the case.
It's really well done. I like the song. And Annie has spoken a lot about her affinity for this song when she was a teenage girl and how the memories it brings back for her. It's beautifully sung and it's a beautiful song, but it's just really nice. That's all I'm going to say.
Safe. It's all safe.
Safe. Very safe.
I feel it's like when Kevin Costner went backstage at Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour and said, "That was neat."
I like the video for it because it does sort of lend to this sort of almost kind of woozy feeling of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a druggy song.
Yeah.
Total drug song from the 60s.
Well,
isn't it? That's what I always thought it was.
Yeah, totally.
That's what my older brother said, and he was, a teenager back then in the 60s.
Did they release a promo with a hit of acid in it?
I wish they did.
Might have made it more interesting, right? Okay, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
Muted.
Oh, you're muted, my friend. Maybe you guys want to mute me for the rest of the podcast. I'm not offended. All right, Jim.
Sorry, I got my husband was vacuuming. Sorry.
Oh. Okay.
Did you, Mike? Those posters in the back that you had mounted, or what's the deal with that? That's a great idea. If those are posters, and you just had them mounted where they would hang down.
They're not mounted. They're just on like a like a piece of plastic that grips onto the top of the poster.
Oh,
And
very cool.
and it's got like a little weighted magnetic strip along the bottom to hold it down. The reason I do that is because I don't want to mount them, because I want to have them kept in their original condition. Yeah.
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I just framed them.
Yeah.
Mike, I thought it was because you didn't want to invest the money in framing it because you didn't like the album.
No, because frame them, they're too big and cumbersome. I like to be able to roll them up and keep them in their original condition.
I like them. It looks very clean and minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the production on this album, right?
Ah!
All right. Light Fandango. Who else wants to talk about Whiter Shade of Pale?
I kind of like the music box thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty.
I liked it. But I also loved the song, the original as well.
Yes.
So when this came out, and I knew Annie's history with it, I was like, yeah, I think that's appropriate that she sang a cover of that. In fact, I thought she did the whole album so she could release this almost.
She does sound beautiful. John, you have a release in your hand.
I was just going to mention 2 B-sides that were not studio versions, not live stuff. But one of the CD singles, there's 2 parts to it in the UK. There's a cover of Psychedelic Furs Heaven. And then...
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's great. And that was a bonus track on the Japanese album.
Right.
Yeah. But I love Heaven. I think that's one of the best covers she did from the album.
Yes.
And Blondie's I'm Always Touched by Your Presence, Dear.
Yeah.
So the other thing we haven't talked about is the fact that all the songs on this album are written by men, and the B-sides except for Psychedelic Furs, were written by women.
Interesting.
Wow.
Blondie, Debbie Harry, and then there's a Joni Mitchell cover.
Yeah, Ladies of the Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Does Debbie have credit on that? I thought Gary Valentine wrote that song.
Yeah, Gary Valentine was the.
Oh, you're right.
You know, I listened to Heaven. I'm okay. Don't massacre me, but I'm not a fan of the Psychedelic Furs. So I know. And I also, but as Jim knows, he was in my Blondie series. Huge blind. And David too. Well, David, you came on for the Debbie Harry solo, right?
Yes.
But you're a huge Blondie fan. No one ever does Presence Dear like the original Plastic Letters version. You know who I think did the best cover? Fucking Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman did the best cover. It was better than Annie's. I hate to say it.
But Blondie's is way
I don't think I've heard that. I'll have to look it up.
Would you guys? I will do a bonus episode if you guys will do Tracy Ullman's first album with me, because I love that album. Every song on it is so good. Okay, back to an album that I don't love as much as Tracy Ullman's debut solo album. Whiter Shade of Pale. Any other thoughts?
Well, I just to talk again a little what John was talking about, the single. I mean, it just had so much on it. I mean, it was an absolute packed single, which, by the way, if you read up on, it was not a hit in the U.S. It wasn't really a hit almost anywhere, but it got to #1 in the U.S. on the Bubbling Under, which means it was 101.
Okay.
But anyway, but that's out. But in my mind, Heaven should have been on the album.
Oh, yes.
Placed any tracks with the exception of No More I Love Yous and Downtown Lights for me.
Okay.
I think the decision to make Always Touched by Your Presence Dear a B-side was the correct one. Yep. I don't think it would have fit. And Heaven was, like he said, a bonus track in Japan. But when Medusa was reissued on vinyl in 2018, it did include Heaven as the final track.
Okay. It was also included on the Brazil 12-inch in 1995, Brazil album in 1995, which is this one here. So It's got Heaven written in.
very interesting that it did come out like that in some places. So I'm not sure what the decision-making process there was. And Ladies of the Canyon, have never really been a huge fan of Annie's cover of that, and probably I don't even know the original from Don't Kill Me from Joni Mitchell, but
Oh, well, good night, you guys. and that's a wrap. See you guys in season 4.
Yeah. But anyway, Heaven should have been on the album, and Heaven, in my mind, could have been a single. So
Heaven is one of my all-time favorite Annie Lennox songs.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
It's right up there.
I only listened to half of it in my car, so I definitely need to give it another chance. So any negativity I threw towards it, I take it back. And for the record, I like Annie's version of Lazy the Canyon. The original version's just Joni and an acoustic guitar. So Annie's version's much different. And she did, when Joni did her Gorge concert, which I had the privilege of being at, she did her Medusa version of Lazy the Canyon live. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was nice.
All right. Any other thoughts on Nick?
So actually, I do believe that I have listened to this cover probably a couple of years ago prior. So it might be the only version of Annie's where I was familiar with it. And it's a solid foundation of a song. She transforms into a very soft, adult contemporary number with a blanket of synth pads. It works well. The synth bass has a cool tone. It's playing a rhythm that reminds me of, what do you call it? Vienna by Ultravox with a doom, doo 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 doo. And I enjoy that quite a bit. It's a perfectly fine song. I think that this string of 3 tracks, it proves to be a pretty strong stretch of the album. And I'm not entirely sure if we'll reach that. I'm not sure if we'll reach those same heights at all throughout the rest of it, actually. It's not that all the songs are bad. It's more so that there's a level of consistency that I don't think is matched at all.
All right. Any other thoughts on Whiter Shade of Pale? For the record, before the YouTube comments go absolutely crazy, I do think Annie's version did a beautiful version of it. Okay.
Yeah, good job.
So No More I Love You is like a mid-tempo opener. Take Me to the River, kind of an AC adult contemporary kind of version. Then Whiter Shade of Pale, like it's pretty slow. So I feel like this would have been a good opportunity for kind of like an up tempo to like kind of nudge the album up a little bit. However, that's not what happens. We get a Neil Young cover, right? What is it? Don't let it bring
you down.
Don't let it bring. So Annie's like singing in this voice that's like she doesn't really sing louder than this the whole song. It's like her vocal choice is so interesting the way she chose to sing the song. It's very gauzy, very like hazy, and I actually kind of like it a lot. I just wish there was paste somewhere else on the album because I feel like the album starts to kind of trudge along. And this is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. Like, she definitely didn't give it her full Annie Lennox till kind of some overdubs towards the end. But what do you guys think of this cover here?
I think she does give it her full Annie Lennox. That's the thing. I think she is doing
not in the verses.
Yeah, no, she is. She's presenting that the way.
Oh, like a character. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I love this song. My wife adores this song. My wife is not into Eurythmics. She thinks No More I Love Yous is the weirdest song ever. She adores Don't Let It Bring You Down. She's got it on her, mixtapes or whatever you would call them these days, playlist. So it speaks to a lot of different people, I think. But I think it's one of the highlights on that album.
I do too. Do you know what, Mark? I agree with you. I feel like I love when an artist has different voices. The way Annie sings a song reminds me of the way Donna Summer sang some of her early songs where she didn't go into her full voice and kind of just played a character almost. Does that make any sense? Is there any Donna Summer fans here at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with Amy. Don't let me bring it. I love this song.
Yeah.
That's Mark's wife.
This is actually one of my favorite songs on the album. Like like it, there's a somberness to it, but she's singing in a register in a key that is, reminiscent of the original by Neil Young because he has a very I don't know how you describe his voice. It's very
Reedy, I feel like kind of.
yeah. Um, but I just like the lyrics and her delivery of the song. I like it a lot.
I had to step away to get a power cord from my phone because I'm holding my phone up like that. I'm sorry. Did someone mention that she had just gotten into Neil Young right before?
No.
She did this album. She didn't know Neil Young's work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't her husband at the time, Yuri Fruckman, introduced her to what it was to Neil Young's music? Yeah.
Yes. And she was learning to drive and she played it. She learned to drive in the 90s and she would play it when she was driving around. That's what I remember.
That's right.
I'm here for the anecdotes, folks.
God, some of the like weird tones of this song and like kind of it's almost like it has an uneasiness to it in a way that a lot of the others, there's a lot of safe songs on this album, but this isn't one of them. I almost feel like there's distant shades of like some of the friction of 1984 in there. Just the weird synth tones for me. Like just a tiny bit of it. I don't know. This might be my favorite song on the album after No More I Love Yous.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Nick. You're muted though.
I did notice that. Thank you. The synth tones on the song are probably amongst my favorite aspects. It's more so the drum machine that I can't get behind. The vocal delivery, a little bit awkward, very frail. It's a mixed bag for me, but I would still listen to it again just because it's so rich in terms of the texture.
I just wish it didn't come after Wetter Shade of Pale on the album because it's like a really slow song into this weird, like it's just I almost wish that Train in Vain and this were flipped, and this would have ended like the side of the vinyl. I feel like it might have been a better pace. Because I'm like Stevie Nicks. I said that in interviews. I'm the expert at sequencing the albums. So I feel like if Stevie had sequenced this album, she would have put Train in Vain and
do with it.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one? All right. Well, we are moving. Train in Vain is next, correct?
Yep.
Well, if you ever was wondering what an adult contemporary version of The Clash would sound like with a synthesized fretless bass, Mike, let's have Mike start this one off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got a really rare collectible for Train in Vain. Do you want to see it?
Yes, we would love to see it.
This is called the Train in Vain Snore Guard. You just pop it in, and there it goes. It's just I can't do it.
What?
What is it?
Wait, what just happened?
The mouth guard, right?
Yeah, it's a snore guard when you listen to the song because it's just.
Oh no, you did.
He just punked us. Okay,
I'm sorry.
when I wake up tomorrow and my subscribers are cut in half and my Patreon's all gone.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, I'm about to leave too. So
You can all hate me, but I'm sorry. I just can't. It's just awful. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
I love it. Not a big surprise.
I knew you would.
Oh, I can. No, it's a groovy song. I can listen to that song all the time. Stand By Me. No way. Come on.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be in like Mike, we should have just done a separate podcast. I feel like this would be like in one of those 90 movies where like the girls are like dancing with the broom. Like they're having like a bonding moment.
Look, I don't mean to be a shady bitch. I love Annie Lennox. I love
Annie Lennox.
But this album, no, it's just not me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And you know when she's sitting behind her computer saying, "Did you stand by me?" No way.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
somebody on this podcast loves this song besides Mark, and they're gonna stick up for it right now. Who's that gonna be? Mark.
No, I was waiting for someone to agree.
Okay, Lynn, rescue this podcast. Please.
I like the song a lot.
Me too. I can listen to it anytime. Yeah.
And then when those damn horns come in at the end, Jesus Christ.
Those damned horns. What are the girls doing dancing in their room,
They're
Jeremy?
dancing with they're like, they have a broom and they're in the kitchen and
like doing
I've never
like Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock are probably in this.
I've never danced with a broom in the kitchen or anywhere.
Jeremy's
I might
having
start
a practice
though. I might
at this
start, and
moment.
I'll dedicate it to you.
There's an outtake of Practical Magic somewhere. They have to.
Oh, I see. That's yeah. Okay. Oh, now I know the reference. Okay.
All right, Nick, what did you think of this version of Train in Vain?
So a lot of the songs are pretty faithful to the original. This one is not, and I'm not entirely convinced that's for the best, but she tried.
John, I feel like many times you've rescued this podcast. Do you have anything to say about Train in Vain?
I would say it's the upbeat song you were asking for.
Wow.
That's very diplomatic. David?
You know what? I'm like because I love Annie Lennox too. So, but I'm somewhere in between you guys because I knew that Mark and Lynn and Jim would kind of sway me because I actually had this really down. I like only like 3 tracks on this album, but what you guys also bring to the table is, what it meant to her in this album and just the time in her life. She might get an extra point at the end where we rate the album.
We're here for that.
I just want to say I love all you guys. I love this podcast. I really do. All right.
Yes. Let me just say, you got to look at the forest, not just the trees. You got to look at the forest here. You got to take it as a whole package, not just each individual song.
I'm trying.
Jim, if I can survive a podcast with Deprivation by Debbie Harry, I can do anything.
Yeah, that was.
I wrote that down. It's her deprivation. I totally wrote that down.
Oh, okay.
No, this is better than Deprivation.
This is better than Deprivation.
That's funny.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of soul songs that are remade on this album, I Can't Get Next to You. This does have a nice Spanish guitar, little flamenco flair. Mark, what do you think of this song?
I love this song, and I love the Spanish guitar on it.
It is nice.
I think that was a great addition. I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but it's I think a fairly the guitar, she puts a twist to it. It's an interesting choice. Again, I go back to early on where a record company person was saying it was going to be an album of obscure cover songs. And of course, this may be the most famous song on the album. I Can't Get Next to You. I mean, everybody knows that song. So I think, there's a lot of, gumption and like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sing it. Maybe from a woman's perspective, I suppose, in that sense, of course. But I think she does it very, very well. She's really great at these soul songs. She's always been. I love that part about her. So I'm drawn to that anyway. I'm not sure it would have been a song I would have done because it's so famous anyway. She did it. I thought she did it really well. I don't know what Mike is going to say.
I'm
Jim,
not saying anything anymore.
I'm not either.
I'm not saying anything anymore.
Oh, come on.
You've been silenced.
Yeah.
Jim.
So what I was going to say is, I think it's fairly close to the original, though, the musicality of it. But this is the song, the only song on the album that I think he gets to that Annie likes power growl that we all love that she has. That when she hits that peak moment, she's really hitting us 150% with her voice. Not quite 150% here, but I think this is the closest song to what we're used to.
Right.
Annie Lennox pushing us to in some of her original songs.
All right, Lynn, what did you think of this one?
I like it. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I like it a lot. I like the album. I think that, I'm the antithesis of you guys. Or some of you.
Do you guys feel like this might have been a more popular single than some of the slower songs they chose? Think it would have done well? Because I felt like listening to it, I'm like, I could have heard this on the radio in 95, maybe.
Wait, remind me what the singles were.
There are a lot of ballads.
Waiting in Vain, Whiter Shade of Pale, Something So Right.
Yeah. I think it could have been simply because, again, it's a song that's in the back of your head, even if you don't know it.
Right.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And so, a lot of covers will get released because of that. It's already in the Zeitgeist, it's there.
Right.
So it could have, I think, I don't know. But it comes on my car radio. I turn it up. Cause it's, if she'd been performing this in a concert where she did a lot of concerts and she'd bring out some of these really great soul songs, I think we'd be like, oh, that was really cool. That was great hearing that. I think even Mike would say that.
I feel like if she would have, I think this is a good version of the song, but I feel like if she would have brought to the table the power she brought to Would I Lie to You to this recording, because I don't feel like she gives it the 100% Annie Lennox on any of this album, to be honest with you. I feel like we're getting kind of like 80% Annie with the performances. If she would have brought that fire that she brought to like Would I Lie to You to this song, I think it could have been a big hit. Mike, go ahead.
She gets there near the end. I can't get, and it goes up,
Yeah.
But to your point, maybe it doesn't the whole time. But I think she gets there.
Yeah.
There's the climax to it, and it's quite good.
Mike, what were your thoughts on this
release? Sorry. Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think if this had been released as a single, it would have made for some good remixes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is a good Blue American mix to it. It doesn't change it a great deal, but adds a little bit to it. Pretty good.
Mike Wilson, what are your thoughts on this song?
I'm sorry. Nice, safe. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Yeah.
All right.
Well, moving on.
Isn't it?
Downtown Lights. Oh, Nick, I'm so sorry. Nick.
Just very brief comments. I'm favorable on this song. I actually forgot about after the initial listen, so it was a pleasant surprise to do it again for the second time around, just to pick this up and recognize that there are some decent tracks in the middle of the album too. I certainly think it benefits from the live instrumentation with the bass, drums. There's actual drumming on this song. Very strong.
Okay. And is there anybody else that would like to add? I'm so sorry. Today's one of those days where I work and then volunteer and then podcast. So I'm like, I'm trying my best.
We're trying to keep you awake here, Jeremy.
Well, the album didn't. Jeez, I'm so sorry. Gosh.
Put on the bump.
Gosh.
Okay, so I got something. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this song is pretty. It's, I agree that it's safe. The thing is, the album as a whole, I've already moved on to something else by now.
Yeah.
It doesn't sustain me to listen to the whole album at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next, a song that Rod Stewart also covered on one of his albums on the same year, right? 1995. Downtown Lights, who did the original?
Blue Nile.
The Blue Nile.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the original version. I probably should have done my homework. Go ahead, Nick.
So I can comment on them. So they were, I'm not sure if I like this label, but you can call them sophistopop, art pop band that were very much into high fidelity music. Peter Gabriel was an early champion of their music. Blue Nile was very much influenced by Peter and vice versa. And they actually eventually collaborated for the OVO soundtrack album, which was released as the commissioned work for the for the Millennial Dome project in 2000, which was very controversial due to its very exorbitant prices, and it was more or less a bit of a spectacle. But the soundtrack itself received a bit of a mixed reception, and the two of them, the lead singer Paul Buchanan and Peter, they sang together on a couple of songs. I personally love the original quite a bit. Blue Nile really never cut too much in the mainstream. They were kind of underground, where a lot of their songs charted on the bottom half of the UK charts, where they had several of them reach around 90, 73. I think maybe they had one that hit 52, but really nothing higher than that. And recently, Taylor Swift, I believe, referenced one of the lyrics within Downtown Lights in her song, partially because her former boyfriend, Matt Healy, was very much into the group. And I presume that the two of them listened to the album Hats, which the song originated from, together. And it introduced the album and the song in particular to a broader audience. And I think it's better for it. I like the cover quite a bit. I wouldn't say that it necessarily surpasses the original. It's mostly pretty faithful, with the exception of trip hop drums, or drum programming, I should say. I definitely prefer the more serene environment from the original, but it's very difficult to mess up the song, and she did well.
All right. I'll jump in and say that much like No More I Love Yous, I feel like this is a lesser known song than some of the other ones on the album. And I think Annie really dug into this one. I think it's a beautiful song.
The Blue Nile's a Scottish band, correct? Am I
Yes.
correct? Yes, right. And didn't they, one of the songs on Diva, didn't they co-write one of them?
He has credits with her.
Say that again, John.
Paul Buchanan does have writing credits with Annie. I think it is on Diva, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
For what song?
Do what?
For which song?
I'm trying to remember.
It was The Gift.
Yeah, The Gift.
The
Oh,
Gift.
That's right.
what great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's similarities to that. Yeah. To the, yeah. I think this is my second favorite song on the album. It could have been a single, but it would have had to been, it's what, 6 minutes and 42 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's a long song.
So it had to been majorly edited, but I absolutely adore where the song's ending and it's coming back, and then she comes into it again. And I think that Nick is correct. I think it is fairly faithful to the original. And someone's done something. You can find it on YouTube where they play the two together and how close it is.
Oh, cool.
Look that up. Someone posted that just not long ago. But the last part, the climax at the very end is so good.
It is. That's great.
Just so good.
There's online. There's several TV appearances of Annie and Paul Buchanan doing "Here Comes the Rain Again" live.
Yeah.
So TV shows from Europe.
Okay.
Mark, you okay there?
Yes, it keeps falling. Sorry. All right, stay there.
Lynn, what do you think of this song?
I like it. It's not one of it's in the middle for me.
Okay.
But I now want to hear the Blue Nile version of it.
Very similar.
Yeah, but with the Millennium Dome, does anybody know? Annie and Dave sang at the Millennium Dome on New Year's Eve. Isn't that right? In 1999.
Yes.
Do you know what they sang? A great song, "Life on Mars."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's a great song. Yeah, it's good.
Mike Wilson, what did you think of Downtown Lights?
Well, I kind of feel cheated because I know this is a really popular song, and I don't get it. I've never liked this song. And I'm being quite serious. I don't understand why it's such a favorite because it just doesn't grab me, and it still doesn't. And I don't understand. Clearly, I'm missing something. I don't get it. I don't really dig the song at all. It just chugs on, doesn't really go anywhere for me. So, unfortunately, it's just another skip for me. I don't get it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, Mike, let me get this straight. You don't like it.
No, it.
So to review,
You're gonna hate me after this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get it.
No, it's okay. We still love you.
Yeah,
Thank
we do.
you.
We absolutely do. Okay, Mike, to just piggyback, as they say on work meetings, to piggyback on what you said.
Yeah.
I liked this better than some of the other stuff on the album. However, I'll probably never listen to it again.
Yeah. I'm with
Like
you.
I didn't dislike it. I actually didn't. I don't dislike anything on this album. There's nothing I dislike here.
Yesterday, I listened to Train in Vain, and I listened to Downtown Lights, thinking, right, I've got to get into this. Nah, I just can't. I don't know.
Not even the last part. Come on.
Yeah, I get that she's building up to this big thing, but it's like I'm lost by that time. I'm lost. No.
No.
I have something about the song that's interesting. I was just looking up sort of anecdote information about the song because, you said Rod Stewart also covered it, and I didn't realize, I'm not a Rod Stewart fan, but I didn't realize that the cover version he did was produced by Trevor Horn. It was, the Buggles and Frankie Goes to Hollywood and all that. But there's this quick clip on Song Facts about the song, and it says it's a slow burn meditation on the soul crushing loneliness that can fester beneath the bright lights of the big city. Kind of reminds me of This City Never Sleeps in a way. Like, in terms of her, the meaning of the song for her.
Right.
So I kind of appreciate where the song would have, an impact for her. It kind of has that same melancholy about it.
Yeah, it really does. That's a really interesting. That's Sylvia. This City Never Sleeps. This thing that I think that pulls her in, and I think again she really likes the Blue Nile, and yeah, I do. I think it works. I'm surprised that you don't see it, but that's fine.
John, all you did is make me want to end this podcast early so I can go listen to The City Never Sleeps. All right. Downtown Lights. Moving on. Okay. I'm a big Pretenders fan. And their third full-length album, Learning to Crawl, that's when they came back after two people died in the band. This is always one of my least favorite songs on Learning to Crawl, but I didn't realize that even the Pretenders version was a cover. It was originally a song from the 70s. Annie's version is drastically different than the Pretenders one, for sure. She does get a little spirited in her lyrics. Reading the Wikipedia page, the song has gone through a lot of different incarnations. Some of the covers do it in second person, some of them do it in first person. I didn't mind Annie's version. I thought it was as Mike says, nice. It was nice.
She knew it from the Pretenders, though. Am I correct on that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mark, what do you think of this one?
I want to surprise everyone.
Oh.
I can't stand this song.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Wow.
I skip it every time I listen to it again tonight. It does nothing for me. And I struggle with trying to figure out why, because I think the subject matter is something that, Annie, clearly can talk about in the sense of, from a female perspective. I'm not saying she was gone through that kind of situation, but I have never been able to get into this song, and I never quite figured out why exactly. And I've tried many, many times. I listened to the whole album earlier tonight, all the way through. I said, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to see what I can, if I'm going to get anything out of it. and it's just not a favorite. I skip it every time. It's I don't I can't. It's not. I don't know, and I suspect Mike's going to say no.
That'd be so funny if Mike's like, "This is the one song I love on the album."
Well, actually, I really like this song, Mark. I really like it. So yeah, I mean, I was familiar with the Pretenders version, which I think is better, but I think she does a good job on this song. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's great.
It's interesting because I hear this from other people in the podcast on other songs, and I think it never builds anywhere. And I almost see a theme from other people that they may feel that about other songs that, and it, yeah, it's just okay.
I
And
think Annie
the
could have
theme
pushed
is-
it a lot further. She could have really pushed the song because it's a very serious subject
Yeah.
and one that she relates to with her feminism and all this
Exactly.
stuff that she's all about. She
Mhm.
could have really slammed this home, and she doesn't. But I think she does again, nice job on it.
Jim,
It's not.
That's Mark, you saying where it kind of doesn't go anywhere. That's kind of what I like about the song because it's almost suspenseful, and then you get to the end, and the way I listen to it and the way I interpret it is it's almost like you get to the end and there's like it's almost kind of like a little bit like a cliffhanger. You're wanting for more, but not in a bad way. At least that's the way I feel when I get done listening to this song. I love this song. This and No More I Love Yous and Downtown Lights in Heaven I know Heaven's not on the American version of this album, but are my top songs from this album. And it's just something, again, I think it's very purposeful the way she did it. I think it was totally what she wanted to do with the song so that people like us would be saying these exact things right now and having these debates over, what was her intention of the song? Or, who knows? I mean, to me, that's just the magic of Annie Lennox. You never really truly know. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, she did it the way she wanted to do it, and I'm okay with that. So yeah.
Well, certainly the first version, the one in the early 70s, was the Persuaders, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was, well, of course, it was from a man's point of view. It wasn't from a woman's point of view. I never really was that entranced with this song, but when I was listening to it today at work in my headphones, I had to stop what I was doing to kind of listen to it. I sort of heard it with renewed ears, and it drew me in. So that was surprising because it hadn't before.
A lot of songs on Peace did that for me years later, and it's always and I could see that happening. That I listened to it at the right time, at the right moment. That then like, I get it. It hasn't happened yet, but other songs have. There have been other songs that I didn't like, and that they hit me at the right time, and then they turned into a favorite. And I think that's the beauty of music. Sometimes it has to be at the right moment, but
right.
I wish it did.
Sometimes though, it's just not good too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not saying this song, but like sometimes there's things I'm like, maybe it'll hit me eventually, but then you just realize like it just wasn't that good. Nick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, so I'll gently contest some of the points that it doesn't build. I think there are a couple points, one at the bridge around the midway point, and then another close to the 3-minute 30-second point where the drums kick in with a boom, 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 and it transitions from the gentle rim clicks on the snare drum to just the actual skin of the snare drum. I find that to be very satisfying. And that in combination with the harmonica playing for some of the instrumental passages contributes to a very satisfying listen. It mostly oscillates between two chords, which is very much propelled by the synthesizer. And I find those tones to be very pleasant. In terms of lyrics, I haven't paid attention to those yet, so perhaps my opinion would change if I looked at it. I'm not entirely sure if it would be for positive or the negative, but based on the entire package, I very much approve of it and find it to be a very strong song on the album, similar to the last one.
And just to surprise you guys, I brought in the harmonica player from Thin Line to Love and Hate. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say that's surprising, Nick,
And
since
here
harmonica
it
is your favorite instrument.
How'd you know?
There is some good harmonica on this album.
Yeah.
There is.
It's a thin line between diva and Medusa, isn't it? All right. Any other thoughts on Thin Line between Love and Hate? I think this might be the second bitchiest podcast in the history of this series. After Madonna Erotica, the first take. That was so bad that I had to recut it a year later.
Well, I blame Mark. I blame Mike.
He brought the negativity from the
Yeah. So there you go.
He was late.
All right.
Man.
Well, after Downtown Lights and Thin Line Between Love and Hate, we're just ready for some bangers, and we have Waiting in Vain, originally done by Bob Marley. I did think this was kind of a pretty version of the song. It was a single, right?
Yep.
I loved the video. The video was great.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
The video was great.
the poster behind me and Mike. I mean, the video. I wish everybody had seen that video. I mean, that is incredible. It's one of the best videos she ever did.
It's so
Absolutely
fun.
amazing.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
I
Mike,
haven't.
Okay.
Mike and Mark. It's worth seeking out.
Well, tell us
Video.
about it. What,
Yep.
like,
She's
Well, she's 3 different versions of herself, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay.
had Minnie Mouse ears and
And Minnie Mouse ears, yeah.
there's some animation in it.
Yeah, and her wagging her leg, swinging her leg.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of the savage housewife in the character, a little bit, not exactly. I mean, it's one of the best things she's ever done. I mean, it's a beautiful video, just so well done, and one of those things that most people probably never saw, because by that point, MTV wasn't what it was, and all that kind of thing. And I really like the song too. There's nothing wrong with the song at all. Very, really well done.
Lynn.
It popped up, actually, I was watching a film not so long ago, Jane Campion film called In the Cut with Mark. Kind of not the greatest film, but Mark Ruffalo and Meg Ryan. And Meg Ryan and Jennifer Jason Leigh are sisters, and they're talking about life and love, and this song comes on. And they both stop and go, "Oh, I love this song," and they stop and listen to it for.
It was Annie's version.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a brutal movie, so So
I feel like I could sum up this whole thing in one sentence. I feel like Sweet Dreams epitomizes MTV. I feel like Medusa epitomizes VH1.
Interesting.
All right. And that's a wrap, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Any other thoughts? I'm just being stupid. Any other thoughts on Waiting in Vain? I did think it was a pretty version.
I liked it. Yeah.
Well, what does Mike think?
Mike.
I absolutely love this song. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And from the minute you hear those strings come in, it just draws you in. And it's so delicate and so pretty and so beautifully sung. It really is one of my favorite songs. And I even like the strong body mix as well on the CD single. And I think the song itself is really beautiful. The Bob Marley version is beautiful as well. And I just think this whole song is like I said, gorgeous. There's 2 different cassette singles with this. And oh no, I beg your pardon, that's something so right. There's a Mexican version of the CD single with Annie and the Minnie Mouse outfit as well.
So that's somewhat what you'll see in the video.
Yes, that's what she wears. Yeah.
And I there's another CD single. Well, I'm sure we've seen that, and it comes with a whole bunch of postcards, black and white sepia postcards as well from the video, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Waiting in Vain, one of the highlights of the album. Absolutely beautiful song, beautifully sung. I love it.
Just another example of what Mike is showing there about how much the record companies were pushing the album and the after No More I Love You. None of the singles did really well,
It kind of went underneath the radar, which was a shame because it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
This is so cute. This picture right there of her.
Yeah.
Was that was the video directed by Sophie Mueller?
I don't know.
I do not know. I don't know. I almost think not. But
okay.
But I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. Dave Stewart actually commented on this several months ago. Someone on one of the boards on the Facebook page or had suggested that there be a greatest hits album that combined Eurythmics and Annie Lennox.
Oh, geez.
And Dave Stewart actually commented on this that no, because it's not the same. And in fact, he went a little bit further and said, I would never have done A Wider Shade of Pale and Waiting in Vain like she did.
Oh.
And I think he said something to the effect that A Wider Shade of Pale would have been really weird and strange.
Well, he has personal experience with that more than probably Annie.
No.
I think it may
just ask Stevie Nicks in 1985.
Yeah.
So,
what were you going to say, Mark? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, I think it may have come at a time when they might have been having disagreements or something. I don't know. But it wasn't that long ago, and it was really kind of that he weighed in on it. Literally weighed in on it. And was like, okay, that's interesting. But, yeah.
It is interesting on the Facebook that people will make comments, negative toward either one of either Annie or Dave, and Dave is on there. Mm-hmm. And he'll weigh in. I remember somebody said something against his daughter, and he was like, "Excuse me?"
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. Like, oh, she has no special talent.
Ouch.
I just feel like Dave just seems like such a cool person. You know what I mean?
I'm still looking for the plant on his head picture from the that I will find that, I promise.
I think anytime that the 2 times I've met him, I mean he is just a nice person.
Yeah.
What everyone says. Yeah. I mean who know him far better than any of us. I mean, and I think he comes across as that. I think he is a musical genius. I mean, that's all there is to it. And he never stops doing something.
Nope.
I mean, never, ever stops. Nothing. I mean, sometimes I think to the detriment of what he's doing because he's moved on to the next thing. And that was the dichotomy between Dave and Annie, but she would have never had Medusa would never have happened. Diva would never have happened if he hadn't pushed her. No, we got to record. 9 8 years or whatever it was. All of that. And they all changed all the time. That every single thing about that led to her being able to have Diva. So yeah, but the two of them, they talk about it. They couldn't, it was such a difficult thing, but they just believed in it so much.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. And, but it's so crystal clear in Annie's solo career. Diva, 3 years later, Medusa, 4 years later, Eurythmics Peace, 3 years after that, Bear, and then Songs of Mass Destruction, 4 years. These huge amounts of space between these albums, that didn't happen with Eurythmics. Bam, 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 bam.
I also think the 80s were a different market. Like, people just did release albums quicker in the 80s.
But Cyndi Lauper did, though.
No, didn't.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it helped you if you did.
Yeah, because don't you think Cyndi would have done better had she not waited so long between True Colors and Night to Remember?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was too long.
Too long. By the time that came out. But what's weird is there's a pretty big gap between True Blue and Like a Prayer. I mean, I guess you had the Who's That Girl soundtrack and You Can Dance. I don't know. I'm going off the rails.
Well,
okay.
Well, it never seemed that Madonna was not around for any. There was always something that she had.
She had something. Yeah, she had a single out or something.
Lauper did too. She had some soundtrack, but it wasn't as successful. So
yeah, Hole in the Heart from Here to China was no Who's That Girl. Okay, continuing on. Nick, what did you think of Waiting in Vain?
So earlier in the podcast, I made a comment how the first three songs were the strongest stretch. I might actually rescind that and say that Downtown Lights and Waiting in Vain might actually be my favorite stretch of songs.
Okay.
I do find that the verses are a little bit too similar to Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. I know this was created far before that song, but that's always ingrained in my mind. And I wouldn't say I have negative memories associated with it. It's just that it was inescapable, that Ed Sheeran song. And I would prefer that I never listen to that again.
Oh.
Wow.
And now, so you're comparing it to Ed Sheeran? Is that what you're
Thinking Out Loud?
Bob Marley fans are going to come and beat him up tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on Waiting in Vain? Moving on.
Find the video. Go find the video.
Go find the video. Yeah, I've never seen it, so that's on our homework. Put it in the group chat.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Okay. Something so right. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying I buy concert lofts in Tampa for all my friends, and then they pay for the tickets. Like, I'd pay for them. It's called, my last name's Gloff, so it's the Gloft. I get the Gloft. And I got the Gloft for Paul Simon. I sat through 3 songs and got the fuck out of there because I am not a Paul Simon fan. So hearing this song just made me realize I'm still not a Paul Simon fan. Like, the song itself, I don't like the chord changes, that electric piano. Like, Mike, what do you think of this song? Let's just start right off right here. Something so right.
I really like it. I like it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's certainly a song that I would listen to. Yes, there we go.
Was that really her curly hair? Does she have curly hair when it grows out? Or is that a wig?
Yes. I don't know.
I think it's a wig, I think.
Probably, yeah. It's not one of the best songs, but I like Paul Simon. I think he's a beautiful songwriter, very talented, and I think Annie's done a great job. I do like it. If you include Heaven, the last 3 tracks on this album, Waiting in Vain, Something So Right, and Heaven, are probably the highlights of the album for me. So it finishes on and up for me. Yeah, I'm all for it. It's great.
Okay.
Love it.
Further thoughts from Jim?
I agree with Mike and with Nick. I think that when Nick was saying earlier about the beginning of the album, those first few tracks being like the strongest point in the album, I was just thinking, no, you need to think about those last ones.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, those last 3 tracks, and if you include Heaven, you're looking at the non-US version of the album. I mean, I think that's a really strong end to the album. And the song is beautiful. There's a version of it actually with Paul Simon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But which is really good too. So that's it. Great song.
Yeah, it was interesting. The single has Paul Simon, and she had performed in a concert. I've got a T-shirt from it, from Paul Simon and Friends, I think, in New York. And after that, the single was released, and he had recorded some on it, which was great. Again, didn't really do a lot, which is kind of a surprise to me. But it's a good conclusion. But if Heaven had actually been stuck on it, it'd been perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Further thoughts on Nick? And then Lynn.
Okay.
I can go? Okay, great. So Paul Simon is one of my favorite artists, although of his big singles, this might be one of my least favorite of his. I mean, he has worse songs. If you take the album Songs for the Capeman, I think that's that weird soundtrack album from 1997. All of those songs are worse than this. I think it's a very pretty song, but very bland and monotonous, and it's a decent enough way to close the album, seeing that it's a pretty straight album with not a whole lot of ebbs and flows, a few here and there, but I would say it's one of the weaker ones. It just doesn't do it for me, neither the original nor this one.
Amen. Okay, Lynn.
It's always so funny to follow. I love this song. I love a big Paul Simon fan. The first album I bought ever was Bookends, Simon and Garfunkel. That or Rubber Soul, I can't remember, but those are my first two albums. So, and I've seen Paul Simon live at Central Park and stuff. I love this cover. I almost got to see Annie sing this live at Good Morning America. A friend who worked at Good Morning America, and I lived right across the street. It was on 67th Street between Central Park West and Columbus is where I lived. And he was trying to get a hold of me, and I didn't pick up my phone. And I would have been able, and really, who picks up their phone at 7:30 in the morning?
True.
And I would have been able to see her sing that live at Good Morning America. But I did not. So I love the song. I love the song.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we do need to mention really quickly. I feel like the live at Central Park, that was, and John, when you had that in your hands, I feel like this was such a omnipresent thing in 1995, 96. Like all my friends were watching it. People were talking about her concert. Did you guys enjoy it?
Oh God, yeah.
I went to it. I didn't have tickets, but I sat on a park bench.
Oh,
listened to it because it was at the Bethesda Fountain near where I lived.
It was an iconic show.
Yeah, it was great. I guess there were a lot of people from the Facebook group. Brendan was there, who was
on the front row. Yeah.
Yeah, front row.
And it was shown on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it debuted, was on the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Maybe something to do with the...
I think it did. Maybe. It definitely kept the era of this album going longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it was fascinating, wasn't it? I mean, that it again, there was so much buildup and so much enthusiasm for Annie at the time. Despite the fact that, it wasn't necessarily a big singles album, but it did really, really well.
I think she'd done almost zero live appearances since Diva, and it was such a big deal that Annie Lennox was performing live once only.
Yeah.
So the anticipation was massive. I remember that.
She had done a concert, where was it? In Poland, right before?
Yes.
And she does a really weird reggae version of Sweet Dreams that I can't stand.
Oh.
So I think that was just sort of a practice session for the Central Park, is the way I always got it. Just, get the band together and do it. I don't know why it was done, but you can find that. I don't know if you can find it on YouTube. I think maybe you can. Somebody released a bootleg of it once, but yeah, the live in Central Park was wonderful. She looked great and very Scottish, of course.
I mean,
in her curtain suit. Yeah.
You think back to 1995. You're walking into your friend's apartment, and they had the CD tower, and you walk up to the CD tower and think about what's in there. You always, like Tiger Lily, Natalie Merchant was in everybody's CD tower at the time. Jagged Little Pill. But Medusa was in everybody's CD tower. Like this album, I almost feel like even though maybe Diva was more popular, I guess, I feel like I saw Medusa out in the wild and a lot more general CD collections. Like this was a popular album. What do you guys think? Like, what's your experience? Don't you feel like just everybody had this album that I knew, even if they weren't like huge Annie Lennox fans?
Well, they had all those albums you mentioned and this one. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And they had Diva. I said that in the last podcast.
Yeah, I mean, Diva.
Everybody had Diva, it seemed like.
All right.
Well, when I met Pat, my husband, I mentioned, one time I said, no, and everybody in the 90s said Diva, and he said, I didn't. Oh, well, I still liked him.
And I think, like, we always talk about the scope of someone's career. Diva's was a life-changing album for me, so I think had Diva not come before Medusa, I might approach this collection different, because I mean she just reached such artistic highs for me, and in Eurythmics. But this album's fine. All right, did anybody else have any other comments they wanted to add before we do the rating system?
I was just going to comment on the chart position. So In the UK, both Diva and Medusa hit #1. However, in the US, I was surprised to find that, I mean, I wouldn't call them middling necessarily, seeing that Diva and Medusa hit 23 and 11, but I would have expected a lot more from someone as high profile as Annie Lennox. But maybe in the mid 90s, people were more interested in Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. I don't know.
Well, honestly, Nick, the way these albums sold, I don't think a lot of albums have a big spurt, then they kind of fall off. I feel like Diva was always like a consistent seller that might have not gone high in the charts because it had a big spurt. But I feel like people just kept buying the album throughout the years. And same with Medusa. Don't you guys kind of agree?
I believe Medusa stayed on the U.S. charts for 60 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive.
Which is incredible because it had No More I Love You's what? Did it get to 23 or something to that effect?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't remember exactly. So, and no other hit singles. But again, just as Jeremy's talking about, there was something about it. You know, again, I think she was just at the mid 90s. Annie Lennox was part of the discussion that she had never really been in the U.S. with Eurythmics in that same sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can't define it. I don't know why, but you know, she had a different kind of audience than she had with Eurythmics. She kept a bunch of us, of course, but she developed a new audience, and it was quite incredible. And I think, to Jeremy's point, I think Diva, you know, took a while. So everybody wasn't buying it the first week or the second week. That's why it had that longevity. That's why it peaked, quote, at 23. It clearly, and it sold a huge amount of albums in the U.S. So both of those albums had a long shelf life, probably much longer than albums that even may have placed higher. Just, you know, she stayed there. It was amazing.
And I think back to 1995 again. Like the people that were listening to Medusa were the same ones that were listening to the No Doubt had just come out, right? Like I'm Just a Girl. Wasn't that like 95, 96? Sheryl Crow was all over the place. So that's, you know, Annie really sat in so nicely with this generation. And, you know, she did not seem like a you know, a lot of times how artists like kind of seem older. Annie Lennox completely felt contemporary in the 90s. Completely, in my opinion. Like she didn't seem like Stevie did. Sorry, Stevie, but yeah. So any other thoughts on Medusa? All right, next time we meet, we're gonna be going into the 2000s. But let's start with the Medusa scale of 1 to 10. Did everyone here give Diva a 10?
I did.
I did.
Yep, we all gave Diva a 10. John, what do you give Medusa by Annie Lennox on the Phonogenics scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, in terms of, I give it a 7, and I'm giving it because for this sort of the same reason. Like I find it to be, I mean, overall it's a bit sort of one note, just the whole vibe and tone of the album. I think there's highlights which rank, you know, the 7. That's where I'm at with it.
All right, Mark.
Well, I already said, you know, there's one track that I don't like, but I think it's fair. It goes through. I'm gonna say
8.5,
and it's. I could probably go to 9 just because No More I Love You is one of the best songs ever recorded. The Lover Speaks, who did it first, brilliant songwriting, but she took it to another level.
Yeah,
so she didn't do anything else. You know, it's so perfect. But I like the album. I agree with a lot of what was said in the sense that could it have been differently? And I wonder too, and you all talk about this a lot on these podcasts, that if the track listing had been slightly different, would it have made you think differently of some of the songs? I wonder, because like I said, you know, but it came out in a great period of my life, and I like it. But that there's one song on it that I don't like, I can't give it a 10. So
right. Well, David.
Okay, so I gotta say, I always think about how I felt about it originally, and then I think about because I re-listened to it for the podcast and everything. Originally, I think the same thing as I do now because I need my angry Annie, and she gives us so little of that, and back then I felt ripped off. Not ripped off. Okay, so back then I felt ripped off. Now, listening to everybody, I have respect for it. I'm glad she won a Grammy, I mean, she absolutely deserved that. And, I'm definitely gonna look for the video Waiting in Vain, but I don't see myself, like going back to this album, the whole thing, and listening to it. I just have such a hard time getting through it. Because yeah.
David, if you're walking up to that CD tower in 1995 and you saw Medusa or Deprivation, which one would you pull out and play?
Oh my God. I actually only, that's not a fair question.
Not a fair... All right, you don't have to answer it.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, I'm asking you the same question. Get prepared. Lynn.
So David never rated it.
Oh yeah, David. What's
I didn't? Oh, a 7.
7? Okay.
And that also has to do with, based on her whole, we'll see. I haven't even heard Nostalgia, and I've only seen a video of the Christmas one. So I got some studying to do.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I felt ripped off.
All right, Lynn.
Mark and I are similar on this one. I would put it because it was not my all-time favorite, but I would put it because it had some songs that No More I Love Yous, and also Waiting in Vain, and Something So Right. I'm going to put it at 8.75.
Oh.
Yeah. And because I will go back, and I hadn't listened to it for a while, and I will go back and listen to it again this week or in the coming days.
All right, Jim, I feel like I don't even need to ask you. I feel like you're a bigger fan of Medusa than Deprivation. Because I was on both.
Right, well, first of all, I want to defend David. I think that asking him that question about which one would you pick is kind of like saying, hey, you got 2 kids, but you need to get rid of one of them. Pick one. I mean, it's not a fair question. My answer to that question would be, I'm going to pick Medusa. So, there you go.
And by the way, those albums have nothing in common with each other. I don't even know why I got on this thing.
No, because, well, I don't know. There's some disdain for Deprivation. I think it's because, and this may be some of the angst that you guys feel, is that I think it's because you expect so much more from the artist, and then when they release something that you aren't expecting or that you don't think is going to be, what it doesn't live up to what you expect it to be. I think that's where the bad taste kind of gets in your mouth, and that's how it was with Deprivation. Having said that, and considering the remainder of the discography, and you guys are probably not going to like me, but Bear is not one of my favorite albums. But I'm going to re-listen to it, multiple times before our next podcast to see if I can change my mind on that. I'm giving Medusa a 9. I gave Diva a 10. I'm giving Medusa a 9. There really is only 2 songs that I don't care for, and on the album, and so those songs are skippable. I kind of judge an album by whether or not I as I listen to it, can I listen through the whole thing, or do I have to skip? And those 2 songs are kind of skippable. So it depends on my mood. So yeah, she's getting a 9 for me on this one.
All right, Nick.
So I'm kind of oscillating between a 7.8 and an 8.1, and I'm thinking on the lower end. I would be willing to re-listen to some of these songs, but it doesn't reach that threshold for me of being a very good album. You have a couple of weak songs that prevent that from occurring, but it's still very pleasant, and that's good enough for me.
All right, Mike. Medusa, scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I think David summed it up beautifully. I felt ripped off. So, I'm just going to go out. I'm going to go in. I give this a 4 out of 10.
Whoa.
But I just want to share a funny story, a cool story. My husband has written a book called, I'm not plugging his book, The Melancholy Life of Annie Astor, but there it is. Anyway, he wrote this in the 2000s, and he said to me, the story is set in 1995. How am I going to pinpoint the setting in 95? And I'm like, well, duh, Annie Lennox released Medusa. You could put that in the paragraph. So there is a little paragraph in the very first chapter where the main character is listening to, is it Rick D's Top 40 or something?
Yeah.
And the line is something like, and coming in at number 12 was Annie Lennox, No More I Love You. So that was my contribution to the book. So I do remember that. Yeah, and that's there.
Let's see. We have a 4, we have some 8s, some 7s. I just think I have 5. We had a 9. Yep, we had a 9. I have 5 bookcases of CDs, and only so much. I'm 50 fucking years old. I only have so much time left. So if I'm walking up to that CD collection, there's so many things I can pull out. I have over 3,000 CDs. I could get Diva. I could get Savage. I don't know if I'd ever pull Medusa out again. I just don't know if I ever would. I love No More I Love Yous, so maybe I'd pull out the album for the sake of the No More I Love You CD single. But I think this album was important to continue her career. It kept her in the conversation. Maybe in an angsty Annie Lennox album of originals wouldn't have landed in 1995. It was the right album at the right time. So I think, I'll just give it a 7. I think it's fine. I think No More I Love Yous is a 10 and a highlight of her career. I think the rest, there's nothing I hate. But I keep going back to Deprivation. That's another one. I could see clearly, but I don't know. Anyway,
it kept her current.
Don't forget about Standing in My Way.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I'm trying to think of other deprivations. Is there anybody here I'm so sorry to all the Annie Lennox fans.
Come on, Jim. You gotta have another one from Deprivation.
fucking lip service, bitch. Lip service.
Strike me pink.
Strike me pink. All right, there's nothing on Medusa as bad as lip service, so I'm take back everything I said. Medusa wins. All right,
I like that part, but the Raven. Anyway, go on.
You guys, this was a lot of fun. Annie Lennox, if you're watching this album probably meant so much to her, and we are assholes. So I am so sorry.
No. Some of us are assholes.
Oh. I'm pointing to him right now on the screen.
I'm kidding. That's the first time I think I've sworn on this whole thing.
And Dave was like, my mom watches this. Don't watch.
No, it's okay. But you know what, Jeremy? It was in my CD tower too.
It was in everybody's CD tower.
Everybody had it.
Everybody had Nevermind. Some people had Live Through This. Well, but everyone had Medusa in Tuesday Night Music Club and Tiger Lily.
Yep.
And 10,000 Maniacs MTV Unplugged.
And Eric Clapton Unplugged.
Yeah, Eric Clapton Unplugged was in that legendary CD tower we keep talking about.
Eric Clapton.
Alanis Morissette.
Ever been to?
Yeah. Alanis. All right, friends. Well, this has really been one for the books. I don't know if it's because of my lack of sleep. I kind of felt sick earlier, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I just kept it going. And I feel like this was probably an entertaining or upsetting watch for the people that watch this podcast, depending which camp. Mike, do you have any parting notes for Medusa tonight?
You can all hate me. That's what I'm saying.
We could never hate you. I don't hate any of you guys.
No.
All right, well, we will get in the group chat, and for those that aren't, I'll keep you looped in to figure out when we're going to do Bear, because we all have to be together for that one.
Thank you for adjusting to that.
Of course, we're a family now. Everyone has to be at the reunion. So, all right, much love. I'm going to get this online tonight, and I will see you all next month.
Okie doke.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.